Okay, well, happy Tuesday afternoon to you all. It's noon on Tuesday, and I'm drinking beer. I know this isn't a Sheryl Crow song from the 90s. Today is NAVI oil change day, finally. I was sick for a few weeks, didn't ride the NAVI, and I was waiting for my GoldPlug MP-01T to arrive. I'll get into that in a few minutes. I had gotten the MP-01, which has got the larger 17mm head on it, but I cross-referenced the plug number, the OEM plug number, drain plug on the other side, and it uses a reduced head. So I'll get these out and measure them with some calipers in a minute, and then see, what the relative lengths are, and see if that head size is the same as the other, or if it's just a reduced cap socket portion on it. But anyway, I'm going to tear into this thing, dump this original oil, clean out the little filler screen or filter screen, whatever you want to call it, under the tappet cover thingy on the side here, and then we'll pull the drain bolt out of there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's going to be a funky angle. That's the drain bolt right there. So we'll pull that out of there, drain it out, and I'm going to sacrifice a brand new Rubbermaid container for the cause here. That way I can look at the quality of the oil and see if there's any metal bits or nasty stuff in there, but usually it's just minor stuff. Okay, here we go. So let's start off with how many miles we have on the clicker. It has 348.8 miles. Whoa, I hope you can see that. I'll take a picture, might work better. I just took it for about a 7-mile ride, I guess, over to the Honda shop, grabbed a quart of regular dyno oil, the GN4 10W30. 1030, yep, that's the one. So I'm just going to run this cheap stuff in here for now, and it will suffice for the next 250 or so miles until I get the first service done at 600 miles. And then I'll probably run, let the shop put in whatever the base normal non-synthetic is up until my next oil change that I'll do probably at 1,000 miles. Maybe I might stretch that to 1,500, and then after that this thing's going to be going on synthetic. I'll probably run Rotella in it, which is what I've run in my Silver Wing for years and years and 40,000 miles. Anyway, I'm going to get this underway. It's been sitting here for about, I don't know, almost 10 minutes to cool off a little bit so I don't burn my hands. And drain it out and see what it does. I should probably glove up, so I'll do that now. Anyone need an exam? Bend over and cough. So I'm going to go crack the drain plug off the other side. It's a 12. I got that handy. I forgot to get the calipers out of the garage. I'll go get those before I install the plugs. That way we can measure up all of our stuff. And I have bricks on my trash bag drop cloth here because it's quite windy today and blowing stuff all around, and you guys are looking sideways. I apologize, but it's just gonna have to be the story because I can't mess with it any other way. Oh, the exhaust is hot. I'll lift, that'll work easier. Yep, that exhaust is hot, kids. Let's see if I can keep you on camera. This won't be a full instructional video. I'm just gonna dump this out and do it quick. There have been plenty of other people doing NAVI oil change videos on the web lately, so the oil looks pretty good. It's not overly dark. It's actually still pretty clear. I've seen a lot of people kickstarting these, running the Kickstarter to try to cycle more oil out of the pump. I don't think that's really necessary. If you wanted to get everything out of that crankcase, you could take it down off of the center stand and lean it this way to the right side, and that would help drain it, but I don't think it's really needed. All right, so I have the factory drain bolt here. She's still pretty warm. I'm going to take off the crush washer so we can get accurate measurements of everything. We'll start off with the proper cross-reference from GoldPlug, which is the MP-01 T as in Tango. I don't know if that shows up there well, but I'll try to take a picture of it later. So MP-01T, and that's the reduced head size compared to the MP-01, which I will crack open next just so we can look at it. So crush washer looks the same. Don't need to really measure that, not concerned. But the plug is what we're interested in. So, trying to see if I still have you on the screen. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So you can tell the head size is the same. The cap socket section looks to be a little bit longer outward, but that's fine. It's just more mechanical advantage. Good stuff. Sorry about the rag fuzz. So 12 millimeter reduced head, and it appears that the outer diameter of the bolt head is the same. So we're good there. The overall length is probably a little bit longer on the GoldPlug. It looks like it may be just a millimeter, half a millimeter, due to the magnet size. So anyway, I'll hope that my calipers work here. My battery is pretty dead low in here, but what we're going to do is we're going to measure the head size first, if I can get it to stay in there. Head size 19.85 millimeters, and the GoldPlug is 19.69 or 19.7 millimeters. So it's within a tenth of a millimeter. Pretty good stuff. Pretty close. Now let's go for the overall seated length, which is a little tricky. I guess I can use the end of it. Somebody griped at me in one of my previous videos because I wasn't using the end feeler depth gauge here, but it's hard to show that on camera and keep the everything in one spot. So let me see if I can rearrange. That was the reason that I used a soda straw and a super precise measurement last time. So if I can get it to behave, see, this is the problem. I'm a lefty. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, so that is seated right there. That's to the flange, and the bolt is flat on there. And we came up with 15.4 if my caliper battery doesn't die before we finish this. And now, same process here. Go just right flush to it, and the magnet's holding it on there for me. Look at that. It's almost like it knew it needed to behave. 16.78. So we do have a little bit of a difference. This is longer, but I'll look inside the hole over there. I'm sure we're not going to have a clearance issue by, millimeter and a half, whatever that is. So yeah, and then obviously thread pitch or bolt width, I should say, thread width, whatever you want to call it. 11.84 on the threads. Ugh, get off. And 11.81. Yeah, so we're within tolerances there. Pretty much the same thing. So this is a direct replacement. It should fit just fine. Now let me crack the MP-01 out of there, and we'll take a couple of quick measurements with it, just for comparison's sake. I got this thinking that this would be the one, because most other Honda engines are these. So I guess the big difference here will be the head width. So let's look at that. It's 19.7172. So it is larger. If memory serves, yes. No, it's right there, 19.68. So yeah, just barely larger. 19.67, probably within my measurement tolerances. 19.69. Let me check. I don't know if you guys are seeing this on the screen. I hope so. It's very dim. 19.67. So bolt head size, or the flange size, is the same. It's just the head size. So there's not going to be any problem. You could use the MP-01 if you wanted to save yourself needing one more tool. So here's the 17 millimeter that you're going to need over here on this side anyway. 17 and 17. Now you just have one tool that you need to carry on your road trips. Or you can go back to the factory size, which is a 12 millimeter head. So either one will work fine, MP-01 or 01T. I'm going to go ahead and put the T in here because I don't have anything else that this really needs to fit, I guess. I don't know. Let's do a coin toss, figure out which one goes in. I don't care which one, because there's going to be plenty of room over here. Let's go visually check it. Go ahead and put the crush washer on both of them, and whichever one looks prettier gets to stay. Crush washer. I got to take two tools over there now. Oh, see, we're already finding inefficiencies in the game. You guys probably aren't going to be able to see diddly squat unless I lay down sideways. And yes, I know, I need a lift. Don't bug me. Okay, so let's try the MP-01, the larger head. just to see if clearances are okay. And you can see that's a long, deep, empty hole, so that extra millimeter or whatever on the end of this is not going to be a problem. So yeah, MP-01, let me try to get you guys level. This is hard to maneuver the chest rig and do this one-handed. So I think I'm going to leave the 17 in there. First in, first out. Make sure there's no clearance issues. Sorry, you're getting seasick, I bet. Look at that. Deep well socket fits just fine. There's no clearance issues to the right side engine case. So, hey, 17 wins. 17 stays. Because then I only need a 17 on this side and a 17 on that side. Cool. Snug this up. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. Just about, I don't know, I think it's, don't quote me on the numbers. Sorry, you're not looking that much. I don't know what the numbers are. I just get them good and snug. They don't need to be monkeyed on there. Just about anywhere from usually 12 to 15 foot-pounds is plenty. Okay, that's that. I'm going to crack the bolt off the other side, let it drain. Ugh. One of these days I'll get a lift, maybe at the garage in my warehouse. But this is my exercise. Come on, guys. Don't deprive me of my exercise. Okay, get that on there good and flush because it's not a very deep head. Okay. Now these things are spring-loaded. I don't know if anybody else in their oil change videos have mentioned that, but there is a spring. I need my little extension. For anybody that's been dealing with Hondas for a few decades, you know where these caps really came from, and that is these are valve tappet covers. But what they do is they put a spring behind them and a little screen to catch large particulates, but I mean, these are really large. We're talking chunky. So you just keep a little bit of inward pressure on it to release the pressure on the threads so you can unscrew it. But that's a valve tappet cover right there. I think it's probably the exact same one on my Super Cub and a bajillion other Honda motorcycles throughout history. So we're going to get that out of the schmutz and put it over here on a rag. And now I need to go find my screen that ran off to the other side of the bike. Getting my exercise, see? Up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, let's see what kind of fuzz we have on there. Okay, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, and I don't want to touch the camera to rearrange. There's a lot of fibrous junk here. Probably see it on my glove, and there's a big shiny chunky on my fingertip there as well. So, yep, there's some metal junk in here, and that's why I always change these things early, because you catch that before it can, stay down there in your bottom end too long. And you guarantee if these chunkies are here, then there's much smaller ones that have passed through this mesh. And that's what the GoldPlug magnet catches. So, anyway, we're going to hose that off with some brake cleaner and let it dry. It's usually a good idea to pull these O-rings off if you're going to really saturate them with solvent, but I don't like taking these off because sometimes they'll tear. They're not real super strong, and sometimes they're actually stuck to this mesh screen a little too well. So what I'll do is just hose her down here and kill my gloves in one shot, because these things won't last with solvent. They will die right away. And let's see if we can clean that out a little bit. Okay, so there's a big piece of gasket flashing here. That needs to go away. Silicone flashing from when they put the two engine lower cases together. I'm not really concerned about that. As long as it doesn't gum up your oil pump, you're okay. Yeah, it looks good. See what looks like a little bit of something there. Yep. Time to hose it out. So, yeah, there's that. Clean screen. And I will just wipe out the inside of the little tappet cover. That's what it really is, but it's the oil strainer screen cover. And my spring ran away. Oh, no, there it is. Not really concerned about hosing it off with brake cleaner. The curved side of this is going to go into the cup, and the screen goes right there like that. And when you screw this down, you have to put pressure on it, obviously, compress it a bit, and feed your threads. Sometimes it helps to put a little engine oil on there, but it's already got a thin coating on it, so I am not worried. Let's see if I can get the thread to start. Flush, and never put these in with a power tool. Always do it by hand, because getting it lined up is a trick for the first turn or two. Let me see if I can get a better angle on that. There she goes. Hope you're seeing something. Hope you're seeing something other than sky or arm or ground. Okay, so same thing goes for this as did the oil plug. You just want it snug. I think these are only about 7 or 8 foot-pounds. They're not very tight at all. And it's soft aluminum, so don't go monkey on it. Just snug is plenty good. It's got an O-ring in there that crushes. That's all you're after. Okay, here we go. So let's refill it and see how much it takes. I think it's 0.8 if I remember the owner's manual correctly. Man, it is windy out here. I always go slow with these at first because I don't know if they've got enough breather down there to not backflow up through the threads on the bottom end. I don't care about the top of the funnel. You can see the top. Can't see the bottom until it dribbles all over your driveway. Here we go, 200 on the money. So I'll crank it over, let things circulate about, and then we'll come back and check it. Leave this here to dribble on the plastic. So I am right in the top range of the dipstick, but of course it hasn't been circulated yet. So once it warms up, circulates around, I think that's going to be on the money. Oh, I forgot to mention that I got a pack of the replacement washers, you know, the extra crush washers. I normally don't replace these. I know every manual, shop manual, owner's manual says to put a new one in there. But, you know, I got to tell you, I've used the same crush washer probably 10, 15 oil changes. We're talking 80,000 miles or something, whatever, and they still don't leak. So if you start getting a leak, yeah, go ahead and, you know, put a fresh crush washer in there. Or if you're just absolutely anal retentive, then, you know, replace it every time. But a pack of these is like $6 or something. Screw it. I just reuse them a few times. And it's been sitting a while, so I'll probably have to choke it. Go ahead and temperature's pretty high today. It's 74, I think, 72, 74. It's pretty warm. Leave it at about half choke. My carburetor doesn't seem to respond much to half choke. No real difference. It only starts making a difference right at full choke or just a hair off, maybe like 1/8 the back. You can see how it picks up. So whenever I'm trying to warm it up, it's always a little finicky. If I can hit it just right, then I'm okay. But in the mornings when it's cold, it won't run on full choke. It has no power. You can't take off. And if you go any further than about here, then it just dies. So it's a finicky beast. Anyway, I'm gonna let this warm up for a few minutes, get up to, you know, good and warm, shut it down, let the oil settle out again. I'll check the dipstick, and that's it. I guess we can go through that oil if we're really interested in seeing what's in there, but I think it's pretty clean. We can go get a bright flashlight inside and we can look at it, but normally in the little recessed ring around the bottom of these pans, you're gonna see your metal stuff settle out, and the only thing I see is that one little black speck right there, and I don't think it's even metallic. It's silicone flashing of some kind. So oil looks pretty good. Okay, it's been a few minutes. Ran it around the neighborhood for a whole mile and a half or so. Now it's got 350.1 miles on the clicker. Engine's up to good and hot. It's been sitting here for a minute. Something just long enough to let the oil settle out in the sump so we can check the dipstick. And of course, you know, you want to check all your bolts and all your stuff everywhere, make sure you don't have any leaks from anything that you've opened up. Let's see what our level looks like and see if I need to add any. Nope, we're at the top of the hash marks, if you guys can see that. But yep, so we're good. So now I have a couple of drips here and there that I need to clean up because they are going to stink when this exhaust gets hot enough to burn them. Let's hit it with some brake cleaner. Okay, good enough. So, Navi's first early oil change done, and time to go put a bunch of miles on it. Catch y'all later.